I'm now being joined by one of the governor-elects who are participating in that induction program, the governor-elect of Katsina State, Mr. Dikko Radda. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I know it's been a long day, isn't it?
It is really a very long day, and I'm just coming from there directly.
Thank you so much that you are able to join us. But how does this, you've been in the private sector, isn't it? I mean, you have been outside, being coming to be a governor. This induction program for you, how does it feel? What is the atmosphere like? The kind of speakers that you have listened to today, what does it mean?
I think it is a very, very good program, and it is very insightful. And then I think the first paper that was conducted today was done by the global expert. And it is on the tax of nation building, which everybody needs to be on it, because we are all here to govern and we are all here to provide leadership. And then the first assignment for every governor is to have that spirit of the tax of nation building, to be part and parcel of the development of this nation, to be part and parcel of uniting the country and making a very peaceful atmosphere at the center. I think that is the most important thing. And then later on, there was issue of priority, setting goals, performance measurement, and also how to recruit your team. And that is very essential, because whatever strategic policy you have, you cannot be able to achieve it if you don't have a very good team of experts, despite the fact that you have some political consideration. But if you want to succeed as a governor or for any leadership, you must have people who have the expertise, who have the experience, who have the skills. And then you have to also consider diversity. And you have to consider other options: youth involvement, women involvement, politicians involvement, and what have you in the government. It will only consolidate the gains of the government, and it will make the smooth transition from one government to another. And I think the issue of transition was also discussed at the forum. And at the transition, it means you have to look at so many things. Party affiliation should not be a hindrance to the transition from one government to another. And governors-elect shouldn't waste time on investigating what the other government has done. I think it is better to kickstart the process, draw a line, move on, and provide the leadership that you are supposed to provide in your state.
I'm imagining that yourself being from Director General of SMIDAN, you have a lot of experience in creating wealth. You've seen a lot of how the sufferings of the people of Nigeria. You know where the wealth should be, the small and the medium scale. That is where experts will say that is where the money is. That is where the real economy is. And perhaps you've gleaned a lot from a state like Katsina that suffers a lot in banditry, insecurity problems. Have you been able to identify one thing that will help you as a governor, as soon as you get into office on the 29th of May, to get the bulk of your people out of poverty?
I think fundamentally, when you look at the state in particular, it's a state that has suffered from banditry and insecurity. And I was able to go around all the state, all the 361 wards of the state. Despite the insecurity issue, I was able to go. The essence of me visiting those places is to see to myself, discuss with the people, know their problem, because without doing a need assessment on anything, you cannot be able to achieve the goals you have set for yourself. So I think the most important thing in addressing issue of poverty, creating wealth and employment to our teeming youth, because largely most of the issue of criminality that is happening in our society is as a result of youth unemployment or underemployment. What I mean by this is that we have to enhance and develop and cultivate MSMEs, macro, small and medium enterprises in the state, so that they will serve as an engine for providing employment to our teeming youth, for providing source of livelihood to our people, and also reduces the level of poverty. You know that there are so many displaced persons in the state, and part of the thing that we want to do is to see how we can rehabilitate them, return them to our societies. And I told everybody that my first priority is fighting the insecurity, seeing how we can reduce the insecurity trying to reposition the people back to their societies, integrate the society, use the locals, and then employ the locals in providing security at their localities in line and in relationship and creating synergy between them and the conventional security apparatus that we have in the state.
So, I mean, one will imagine that there's been a lot of effort from the incumbent Governor Masari, in trying to engage. There was even time that he got arms and ammunition of these guys. He tried to give them amnesty. He tried to but it does look like the northwestern region is still battling. The governors are still wrapping their heads around the real cause of this banditry and insecurity in your region. What have you identified as a major cause?
I think, you know, whatever, when you want to deal with security, there is kinetic and non-kinetic approach. And first of all, you don't negotiate with bandits at the point of disadvantage. Always try to negotiate with them at the point of advantage. That let them call for negotiation. You shouldn't be pursuing the negotiation. You should be able to approach them, talk to them. You know, all the things that we have been doing is we have always been proactive. What we want to engage the bandit with, we want to approach them, know where they are, locate them, deal with them.
Have you identified them, their worries?
In fact,
I mean, do you really know what they want?
You know, those things are there because everybody who knows history, he knows how this thing has started. Because it has started because of injustice that is being meted to the Planis since time immemorial, from the traditional institution, from the courts, from the police. You know, this has been going on for a very long time, and it has not been addressed by the government. And again, you know, if you go to those villages, those localities, they don't have schools, they don't have hospitals, so they are not benefiting anything from the government. But the situation has gone so bad now. You need to deal with the situation before you start addressing those issues that created that
How would you tackle it? Since, I mean, you see this more like a historical and cultural problem. I mean, there's a grievance between, like you said, with the Fulanis, and this is an age-long crisis. How do you want to tackle it?
You know, the problem is there are a lot of intruders into the situation. This thing is not only perpetuated by those people. There are so many people that are coming in and taking advantage of them.
Aliens, non-Nigerians?
Aliens, non-Nigerians, and even people from Nigeria. And there are even some people who are taking advantage because within those forests, there are some illegal mining sites. And as a result of those illegal mining sites, there are some people who are funding the bandit.
Politically?
Yes, politically, so that when they fund them, it will give them opportunity to mine whatever they want to mine and move away. But they have they have terrorized, and they have enclaves as a place where they said, okay, this thing is our own, and they don't allow anybody to come. If you don't collaborate with those bandits, create that situation, that wealth will not be harvested from those
there's
places.
a need to disrupt that system.
There is need to disrupt it and then to come back and address the main cause of the issue.
But these guys are in the forest. Is it not, I mean, how easy it is? Because Governor El-Rufai said one time, flush these people out, bomb them, disrupt them. How easy is that?
You know, it is easy to do that when you use the locals, because those people living near the forest, they know the history of it, they know the location of those people, they know where you can locate them. But the problem is we don't have the energy and the guts by our security agencies to approach those people, because most of them, they lack the knowledge of the terrain, they lack the knowledge, the topography and what have you of the area. So for you to achieve success in the area of security, you must use the locals. The locals, you gather intelligence from them and you use them to lead the battle to the forest.
It's interesting. So if you're getting into office, and I know that your people will be looking up to you to fix the problem, because according to some of the locals, they say Dikko is a magician. He will do the magic. And I'm hoping that you will be able to get things done. What will be the first thing that you will attempt in tackling, in ensuring that there is peace again in Katsina?
You know, the most important thing, I have said it over and over during my campaign, and I have made promise to the people of Katsina State, my first priority is security. I will look at the security issue. I have just received a report last week from the security committee. I have sat with the experts who are knowledgeable in security aspect, and they have submitted a report. What we need to do immediately, we are sworn into office, we swing into action and try to see implementation of the recommendation of the security committee.
Let me take you back to, one area that you are being an expert in the area like Funtua, in Kankari, in Bakori, there is maize in abundance. In some areas like Faskari, Kufo, there is yogurt, and there is asbestos in iron ore in Katsina State. These are enormous mineral and agricultural deposits and opportunities in your state. First and foremost, the asbestos, the iron ore, the mineral resources, these could be some, it may not be low-hanging fruit, but the agricultural part of it, I know banditry has affected a lot of farming. What are your immediate plans to generate wealth, to engage people in agriculture and in mineral resources? Are you planning independent Katsina State-owned industries where people can get jobs through these industries where you have your mineral resources?
You know what we intend to do is, all these plans that we have, we cannot achieve it when we don't have peace in the state.
So security is a major agenda.
We are addressing insecurity, but vis-a-vis working on other areas, because agriculture in Katsina State is one of the most important areas that we have to look into, because 85 to 90% of the population, they depend on agriculture. Their source of income, their source of livelihood is agriculture. We are developing an irrigation master plan to ensure that we have 12 months round farming season in Katsina State, because right now what we witness is we only have 3 to 4 months engagement on farmers. They have about 8 months wasting their time, wasting their energy without doing anything. What we intend to do at the moment is to make sure that we promote irrigation, because we have so many irrigation sites that were not utilized. We have so many dams unutilized. We have so many thousands of hectares of irrigation land that are not utilized. And even the smaller irrigation sites that we have in all the local governments, we try to see how we develop it. So right now we are working on the irrigation master plan. We are trying as well as to bring back the extension services workers so that they will be able to teach farmers on a different farming practices, the kind of seeds they should plant, the kind of time to harvest, time to plant, time to, if you have that information readily available to the farmers, the sky will be the limit in the area of production, and there will be a value chain addition in the product processing, and then...
We're totally out of time. We need to run now, just in 10 seconds. What kind of governor do you think the people of Katsina should be expecting in Dikko Radda?
Very humble, simple, and very hardworking, focused, and straightforward.
Dikko Radda, Governor-elect Katsina, say thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, and I wish you the very best.